You need to catch that trend immediately. If you're watching this, AI is giving you an opportunity. It's the next crypto. People build a personal brand that gets a lot of views, but they don't make any money because the views.
Should you focus on decision making, hiring more people? On what should you focus to reach $1 million a month?
To make 0 to 100,000 a month, the next step, let people demonstrate their skills. Don't ask them. You don't need a very good team. You don't need huge personal brand. You don't need huge marketing paid ad campaigns. The most important thing.
All right, today I'm with the famous Tai Lopez. I'm glad to have you on the podcast here. So thank you for accepting the invitation. And yeah, today we'll talk about how to scale businesses, mostly e-commerce and info product and high tickets like consulting, coaching, and agencies. And today we'll talk about that, how to scale from 0 to 100K a month, 100 to $1 million a month, and $1 million plus. So first, thank you, Tai Lopez, for accepting this podcast. How are you today?
Good. How are you? I'm traveling in Europe, not in France, but not too far from you. I was just in Rome, Scandinavia. So thanks for having me on.
Nice. Can you still work traveling that much?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. My main motivation in life, I say there's 4 M's of motivation: material things, mating, love, movement, freedom, mastery, status. Everybody's driven by one of those. My main one is movement, freedom. So the reason I started out trying to make money was so I could set my own schedule, travel where I want to go, that's my motivator more than trying to be the richest man on earth.
all right. Okay. So we can start by how to scale from a 0 to 100K a month because you scaled multiple businesses, right?
Yep.
How many industries, did you worked in?
Oh man, I've done all kinds of info products. I've done my own personal brand, 67 Steps, teaching people SMMA, that whole movement I started, social media marketing agency. I own the trademark for that. I've done books, Mentor Box, like Netflix of book summaries. I've done, physical products. I've done bodybuilding.com I owned, which is supplements, apps. The app, we had an app doing almost $1 million a month for bodybuilding. So I've done furniture, clothing. I've owned, high fashion clothing brand so I've done, Ralph and Russo. I've tried, everything is essentially similar in making money. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
You have a
I agree.
psychological need. Can you find the need and fill the need faster and better than anybody else? Warren Buffett calls it delighting
Right.
customers. If you can delight customers, you can win in almost any industry. I own farms, food business, real estate. So I remember I remember when I was doing about 400K a year. And I remember this is probably like 2000, I don't know, 5 or 4 or something like that. And I was thinking, man, I wonder if I would ever be able to do $1 million a year. And then when I broke $1 million a year, I just say, I like Grant Cardone's 10X, just keep adding a zero. So once I figure out how to make $1 million, then it's like, okay, how do I make 10 million? And I've gone, I've done 50 million a month. Okay. So I've done US, euros, maybe 40 million plus a month. So I've seen what it takes to scale. There's pros and cons. You got to find the right number. Not everybody needs to scale infinitely either.
So congratulations, big numbers there. But first, how to scale from a 0 to 100K a month? As you said before, there is some uh, patterns in that you just have to identify. And yeah, most people are lost in this. They're just making few sales. And yeah, how to break this 100K per month? And what's your process to do that? Should you focus on hiring? Should you focusing on having multiple traffic sources? What should you delegate first? What's your view on
So
that?
0 to 100,000 nowadays in sales is pretty easy. So I would not, you don't need a big team at all with AI. 0 to 100,000 is more, I call it the 9 levers. There's 9 things you have to do to make more money. To make 0 to 100,000 a month, you only have to get the first lever right. The first lever is pick the right product. If you pick the right product right, if you pick a product that has a real need and it's not being sufficiently met in the market, you can scale to 100K very quickly. So you don't need a very good team. You don't need huge personal brand. You don't need huge marketing paid ad campaigns. You need a little bit of that. But the most important thing, I see people selling a product that just, there's two things I look for in a product. Number one, I call it the million person framework. This morning, did a million people wake up and say that exact sentence? So let's say I'm selling a testosterone supplement, for example, a physical product. Did at least a million men wake up and go, man, I feel like my testosterone's low? Like you need a million people saying almost that exact sentence. That's the million person. I don't go into any business that I think has less than a million people. I like now, if you want to make a lot of money, you need like the 10 million person, or if you're trying to make more than 100 million, you need 100 million people wake up and say that exact sentence. Number two, is it relatively early, not too late in the cycle? Because if it's too late in the cycle, you have a lot of competition, which means you don't have any pricing power. I don't like businesses where I don't have pricing power. For example, I'd rather own Ferrari because Ferrari, let's say I got my first Ferrari in like 2007 or 8. They could have charged, let's say the average Ferrari is 300,000, right? If they raise the price to 305,000, they're going to sell the same amount of Ferraris. Very few people who want a Ferrari go, oh, 305. Now I'm going to buy a Prius, you know? So I like businesses that have pricing power. So if you're too late in the cycle, it's hard to get pricing power. So for example, let's say you find a million people woke up and said, you know, I don't have enough energy, right? So they're like, oh, I'm low on energy. Then the second question is, how early are you in the cycle? So if you're just going to roll out a regular energy drink, like that's, I don't like those businesses. You might win, but the odds are against you. What I'd rather do is come up with something new. So for example, I know a million people woke up saying they have low energy. Probably a billion people woke up. I want a new form factor. So like an energy gummy bear or something like that. I want to be new in a market. Believe it or not, a little teeny change like that makes it almost like you're a brand new industry. So for example, recently these guys have rolled out like creatine gummies. And I got friends that never work out. They don't take protein powder. They don't take creatine powder. But I see at their house, one of them stayed at my house and he left his supplements and he had creatine gummies. He's like, yeah, I like to just eat these like candy. So for the first time, most humans don't take creatine. Somebody took an existing market, people want more muscle, and they kind of got early in the cycle. There's other people doing creatine gummies, but it's not that saturated yet. So you need two things. A lot of people want it and it's not overly saturated. That's my favorite way to get to 0 to 100K or 0 to a 10 million a month, you know?
All right. But the main thing is distribution for the first million,
Yeah,
right?
but
This is what I
yeah,
think.
but you don't need to be
And
yeah.
tomorrow I can start a gummy creating e-commerce, but the main thing is how to sell it, how to be different than everyone. Petite parenthèse, le podcast reprend dans un instant. Si tu regardes ce podcast, c'est sûrement que tu es un entrepreneur, que tu vas atteindre 30 000, 50 000, 100 000, 500 000, même 1 million par mois de bénéfices. Eh bien déjà, premièrement, sache que tu es au meilleur endroit pour le faire. J'ai sorti un accompagnement dans lequel je t'aide personnellement, moi et mon équipe, à scaler. On est dans la période de l'année dans laquelle il faut absolument double down et mettre en place les meilleures stratégies pour obtenir le maximum de résultats. Il y a une phrase que j'aime beaucoup, c'est apprenez des personnes qui ont déjà ce que vous voulez et je t'invite à faire la même chose. Apprendre des personnes qui ont déjà ce que tu veux. Comme dit dans le podcast, je scale à plus d'1 million par mois en ce moment même et pendant ce Q4, je vais scaler encore plus, peut-être à 2-3 millions par mois. On va le voir dans les mois qui suivent. Bref, si tu veux passer au niveau supérieur dans ton business, je t'invite à booker un call avec un membre de mon équipe. Il y aura un questionnaire rapide pour voir si on peut vraiment t'aider. Et vis-à-vis de ça, on va pouvoir mettre en place tout ce dont tu as besoin pour passer à l'étape supérieure dans ton business. Donc je t'invite à cliquer sur le premier lien dès maintenant en description. Si tu as un business d'e-commerce, c'est fait pour toi. J'ai scalé à plus de 10 000 euros par jour, de 0 à 10 000 euros par jour en 14 jours. Si tu as un business en high ticket, je génère plus de 100 calls par jour avec mon business high ticket. Si tu veux qu'on mette en place les stratégies que j'utilise personnellement dans ton business pour scaler sur cette fin d'année, clique dès maintenant sur le premier lien en description. C'est moment de scaler. Clique dès maintenant, tu es au meilleur endroit pour scaler ton business. The main thing is how to sell it, how to be different than everyone.
Yes.
And I think
Keep going. Yep.
this is the main thing. So how would you do this differentiation between everyone on this market? Because there is some big people, how to be the main, main brand. For example, let's continue on the gummy creatine.
So if my goal's just 100K a month, let's take the gummy cream and let's say I'm not that good. The second lever is pricing. Remember I said the 9 levers. So first, to make your first 100K, you pretty much just have to have an in-demand product that's new. The second one is you got to get better at pricing. So when it gets more competitive, now you have to either charge lower or come up with a reason to charge twice as much. The third one is marketing. The third lever is marketing. So to make 100K, believe it or not, if you wanted to move $100,000 of gummy creatine, you could almost knock on doors of gyms and say, hey, will you put this new gummy creatine? Distribution is important, but it's not the main driver because one gym chain can buy $1 million worth of your gummies from you if you have decent sales skills. So even without TikTok shops, without massive personal brand, now if you want to go 1 million to 10 million a year, or let's say 100K, you want to now go to 1 million a month. Now you have to get pricing right and marketing distribution. But the first 100K a month, like I said, on a physical product clothing line, I know people that aren't good at marketing and they can launch $100,000 a month physical product, clothing, t-shirt brand. The trick is how to get to 1 million a month is where most people fail. 100K is, look, with inflation, 100K is not even that much anymore.
Yeah.
When I first started I made my first 100K a month like 20 years ago or something. That was a lot of money. 100K 20 years ago. Look at houses in the world. I mean, in Los Angeles, for $1 million, you're going to get a crack house. Like literally, you're going to get a house with people doing drugs. Probably the same in France and Paris and stuff. You ain't getting shit. So 100K a month. Now 100K a profit a month.
Yeah.
You'll need to be really good. Yeah, if you want to make 100K a profit,
Yeah.
you probably need to be doing 1 million a month in creatine sales or in clothing line sales. So I was just talking gross revenue because I think it's important that people hit gross revenue and realize you shouldn't overthink it. There's something called retard maxing. They talk about this on Twitter. Have you ever heard this? It's my new favorite thing. So retard maxing is like just do shit without overthinking it. Smart people sit there and go, oh, creatine, okay. Am I a master of TikTok? Do I have enough clippers to do my clipping? Am I on TikTok Shop? Am I on affiliate networks? Meanwhile, some retard dude who not even that smart, just launches the fucking thing and he gets to 100K a month while you're thinking about it. Retard maxing is based off this guy in the 1700s. He was kind of an idiot, but he became super rich selling like warm blankets, like wool blankets to Indonesia where it's hot. All his smart friends are like, oh, why are you selling, warm blankets to Indonesia where it's like 30 degrees Celsius? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just going to try. And he ended up being richer than all of them. So your first 100K, you should retard max. Don't overthink it. Get the creatine. You can find private labels. Get the clothing line built and go walk around and talk and build an affiliate program. Say, hey, or just get one gym to place it. Say, hey, I'll give you all my profit. Jim, if you buy $1 million, I'll make $0 profit. I want to make a 1.2 million, 100K a month. I'll sell you 1.2 million at zero profit. Then you can use that testimonial that you're in these 50 gyms to go to other places. So retard max your first 100K of sales a month.
Yeah.
You don't think you have to be that skilled.
But why most people are struggling to reach that 100K a month? There is so many people that never reach that 100K a month. And I mean, profit. And in your opinion, why most people that don't reach that 100K a month?
Because they're not retard maxing. They're optimizing for too many things. They're like, oh, I gotta have TikTok. I gotta have a podcast. It's like, nah, not your first million in sales. Later, yes. But the guys who win, and the other reason is they picked a product that's too late in the cycle. And not 1 million. I see people selling shit. I'm like, dude, 1 million people didn't wake up and want that. So they violate the first lever. You violate the first lever, you'll be stuck at 3,000 a month.
Yeah, everyone's
You'll be
doing the
stuck
same
at
shit.
2,000.
Yeah.
Look, there's a great book everybody should read by one of the smartest business people ever. He was kind of the mentor of Elon Musk. His name's Peter Thiel. He wrote a book. I keep it on my phone. I'll show you. Called 0 to 1.
So let's get back onto the first lever,
Yeah.
right? The first thing you said is to identify what people want and something that is not saturated yet.
Or at
Um,
least change
I
it.
think,
Sometimes you just change it. Creatine has existed for 20 years as a supplement or more. But gummy bear creatine, so for example, Uber is a great example. They took taxis, which already existed. That's an old mark. I call this trend stacking. They stacked two trends on top of each other to create something new. Two old trends. So apps already existed. They weren't new. Okay? So you had apps here. And then on this side, you had taxis. Taxis have been around since horses. In the 1700s, you had taxis. So what they did is they knew at least 1 million people had woke up and said, oh man, I need a ride. I don't have a car. I'm stuck somewhere, right? At least 1 million people. Then they took a new thing, which was an app. Taxis didn't have an app. You had to call. Even in 2012, before Uber, you had to call. You would say, hey, there was no app, very few websites. So they said, let's make it super convenient. And on top of that, they stacked another trend, which was independent contractors. So instead of having taxis that were professional taxi drivers, they said anybody can become an independent contractor. So they stacked three things on top of each other and became worth $100 billion. Does that make sense?
yeah, it
A
makes
hun-
sense.
They weren't that good at marketing at the beginning. They didn't figure out quite the pricing, but they got the first lever correct. A product that 100 million people woke up and wanted in a new form factor. So it felt new.
Mm, I think that's key. Right, I agree. Yeah. So yeah. So if I summarize the 0 to 100K a month, it's basically have a new product, a new mechanism that no one saw before, and then focus on delivery and on distribution, like just one traffic source. And yeah,
Well, it's good if you know other things. I'm just saying,
yeah,
for
yeah.
somebody who's wanting to start, don't think you have to be good at that much stuff to do 100K of sales a month.
All right. And now let's get into the 100 to a million a month profit, right? For me, the big difference that helped me to reach a million a month was decision making, and to focus not on working, but on doing the great stuff and making the good decisions for my team and hiring the good people, right? Something that impressed me a lot is how you hire a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And you're very good
Hmm.
at hiring. So, like, that's very impressive. So, yeah, do you think you should focus on hiring, on decision making to 100 to a million a month profit, right? What should you focus on? Should you continue working 10 hours a day at a million a month? Or what's your opinion on that?
So here's what I think. Once you want to get to 10x 100K a month, the next step, very important step, is the lever two and lever three. Pricing is lever two. And people forget about this. So they say, oh, I'm going to 10x where I'm at now just by working hard or just by my team. No, you might have your product priced incorrectly. There's a great book on this called Smart Pricing. Smart Pricing, okay? And that book, it's by a mentor of mine. It's a very interesting book every business owner should read. He's a professor at Columbia, one of the top experts on how to price things. So if we look at Louis Vuitton, sometimes the richest man in the world, depending on the month, has been a guy that the French founder of Louis Vuitton. He owns all these different brands. He took a purse that cost him $200. Okay. I looked into how much to manufacture the Louis Vuitton purse, and he sells it for 10 times more. He sells it for like 2,500. How does he do that? Well, pricing was his strategy. So he became the richest man in the world, not just by working harder and having a better team. He decided, I'm going to operate in the super premium market where I can just go crazy with my price. Now, if we go to info products, okay, there's some billion-dollar startups like Masterclass, like Khan Academy, like Lynda, like YouTube, essentially. YouTube decided to do the opposite of Louis Vuitton. What's the opposite of pricing high? They said, we're going to give away information for extremely low, zero. Does that make sense? So both of those were smart decisions, very smart decisions. in opposite directions. So don't forget pricing. Everybody forgets that. So for example, if you're building an info product, I think you should have 3 price points for everything. So if you're selling a low ticket product, I call that the core price. Then you triple it, and that's your pro price. Triple it again, you have your VIP price. I was talking to some guys. They launched a course on, I forget what it was, fashion or something. They're European. I had lunch with them, and guess what? They priced one price. They did a webinar. They made 60,000 euros. But I was thinking, man, 20% of those people would have paid triple. So they priced it at like 5,000 euros. And I was like, why didn't they have a 15? If you look at Netflix, they have 3 choices for you, not just one. Boom, boom, boom. 3. Does that make sense? And so they've done the math. Okay, they've done the math that, wait, the secret to becoming a profitable business is not just marketing, it's having 3 price points. So also, some people couldn't afford 5,000. So they should have had a price that's 1/3. So they should have had a $1,500 price, a 5,000, and a 15,000. I think instead of them making 60,000 on that webinar, I think they would have doubled it. I think they would have made 120,000. And all that extra would be profit. So to me, they lost $60,000 of pure profit in their pocket from one webinar by not having sophisticated pricing. Most people just guess. They look at the other people. Oh, well, they're pricing 5,000. We'll do 5,000. Like, you need to be logical and use math, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, can you continue on the 9 levers to focus on?
Okay. The third thing you have to do, there is a third thing. The third thing you have to do is marketing and distribution. That's lever 3. If you want to do 10 million and beyond, you must master marketing and sales. I put them together. Marketing, I call it promotions. Promotions is marketing team, paid ads, organic, social media, and a phone sales team. So that's the third one. And that's a long conversation on how to get good at marketing. If you want to be good at marketing,
Subscribe.
yeah. So what I would say with marketing is, and you want me to go into marketing? Because
Yeah,
that's
go for
long.
it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So marketing is how good are you at psychology? Okay. Most people, so the way I think of it is the emperor of all business skills, if you want to do more than 10 million, is psychology. Do you understand humans? Now, the king and the queen, below that, the king is marketing, the queen is sales. But at the top, if you know psychology, you pick the right product, you know the right pricing, and then you'll be good at the marketing and sales. So I read a lot of psychology books. I read more psychology books than I read business. You should read Dr. David Buss' Evolutionary Psychology book. You should read Cialdini's book called Influence. He has another one called Persuasion. You should read Charlie Munger. He has a book called Poor Charlie's Almanac, where he talks about the 25 cognitive biases. I have a system called the 39 triggers, the 39 cognitive triggers that make people buy. So you have to go, I've gone very deep. I've spent 15 years studying psychology. If you look at the richest people in the world, Elon Musk, what's his best skill? Psychology. Steve Jobs, who invented these iPhones, what was his best skill? Well, his best skill was understanding that, what's better than just a BlackBerry phone? People want a really pretty phone that's a status symbol. See, an iPhone in most of the world is a status symbol. When you go to Brazil, when you go to Asia, if you're a man and you have an Android, like, people look down on you. So he understood that I'm not just selling a phone, I'm selling an identity. That's Steve Jobs is one of the great psychologists of all time. If you look at, Tesla, there was electric cars before Tesla. But Elon Musk know how to make it look like a spaceship. He was going after the people that are like space nerds. And when you get inside a Tesla, it feels like oh wow, what is this? This is a different vehicle. He doesn't put the way to open the windows and to open the doors. They look totally different. He doesn't need that. That doesn't really make the car faster. It doesn't make it more fuel efficient, but it appeals to your psychology. And so, you can run Facebook ads and just lose money all day. You can try to go viral with a personal brand and just lose money all day long. If you know what you're doing, you can run the same paid ads and make 4 X ROAS compared to everybody else. So it's sometimes people go, Ty, should I just post a lot? I'm like, well, do you know psychology? For example, I have a private client, okay? And I'm helping her. I have different mentor, like private client levels. She pays me $125,000 a year to coach her as a CEO, and she's doing well. She's making $500,000 a month, let's say, in sales. But I was looking at her social media, and I just messaged her. I'm like, it starts out so boring. I'm like, you have to understand psychology. People have low attention spans now. You got 5 seconds or less to get their attention. So she's not really understanding the psychology. She just goes, Ty, I'm working hard. I'm posting 7 times a day. And I'm like, but they're getting like 20 views. So I'd rather you post less often and understand psychology. Does that make sense?
100%.
So this is, yeah. Okay,
Right.
go ahead.
So first, product, second, pricing power, and third, the marketing, right? Um,
Yep.
so I have a good product. I have the good pricing power. I have a good marketing distribution. I know how to sell my product. I have one main traffic source, which can be Facebook ads or whatever is it. And okay, so right now I'm starting making good money. What's the fourth step?
Yeah, so the fourth lever, now we get into a lot of nitty gritty stuff. So, like the fourth lever for info products is your sales team. Do you have a good sales team? Can make a big difference. I mean, a good sales team is the difference between making 100K a month and a million.
Yeah.
There's a health company in the United States, and they sell like a low ticket product, okay, and like a low ticket supplement. But then once you take the supplement, they take you through a 20-question quiz that asks you about your energy, your metabolism, your testosterone. At the end of it, okay, at the end of it, guess what? They call you, and a good sales team upsells you from a $49 product to a 3K, 8K, or 18K.
Yeah.
And they're doing like, I know the company, I'm not going to reveal their financials, but let me just put it this way. They're doing almost 10 million a month with the phone sales team. They're doing 5 to 10 million a month.
Yeah.
So imagine if you don't have lever 4, you're good at marketing, you're selling a $49 supplement, maybe you have a couple upsells, but without that phone team that can get on there and they're selling meal replacements and things like that, high ticket coaching. So the fourth lever for not all businesses, but a lot of businesses, okay? Yeah, like for a lot of businesses, a phone sales team is absolutely critical.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. This is what I do as well when I sell low ticket offers on the global market. I'm losing money on paid ads because I just
That's
want to
right.
have new people that I know
Yeah.
have a problem and can pay for this problem to solve this
Yes.
problem. And then after that, I call them and sell them high ticket offers, right? And it's like right now, it's like between 70% of the revenue are from the high ticket sales, which is a lot. Uh, so first you start with low ticket, and then 70% of your revenue is high ticket, which
That's
is
right.
crazy. And yeah,
So
there,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
You know, most people don't keep optimizing down the 9. They just stop at like, oh, I got a good product. I know how to price it. That most don't even get the second lever. I will tell you, 99% of entrepreneurs get lever 1 kind of good, and nothing else is good in the 9 levers.
yeah,
Nothing. Like what the fuck? You have to be to look, every lever you add it's exponential. So like if you just are good at level 1, you can probably do 100K a month in sales. If you add lever 2, now you can get to maybe a million a month. I would say you need the next 2 levers. So lever 1 gets you to 100K. If you want to get to a million a month, you need lever 1, 2, and 3. That is product, pricing, promotions, marketing. If you want to jump to 10 million a month, that's 100 million a year. You're going to have to start adding lever 4, which is sales. Lever 5 is, it depends on the business, which one is next, but really good autoresponders is important. And I don't just mean like email follow-ups. I'm talking about an email sequence that takes people who almost purchased from you and slowly turns them into loyal followers. I've been sending a daily email autoresponder never missed a day, or maybe I missed 1 or 2 days since 2013. So people who signed up in 2013, they didn't buy anything. Maybe they almost, I like to do a bridge page before you get to the checkout page. I like an email page. I grab their email. There's people who have received 13, let's say 12 years of daily emails. Okay. 365 times 12. Let's call it 5,000 emails. I like to send an SMS once a week or once a month too, because people read. Okay. I have people who my team gets on the phone with in 2014. Okay. In 2014, they first opted in. They've never bought anything, but they buy now in 2025. 11 years of follow up. So your email and SMS autoresponders, and also I would include in that retargeting on social media. So if you watch one of my YouTube videos, I just recorded a 59-minute podcast. I'm not selling anything. But if you watch it, I'm going to retarget you on YouTube or Facebook. So the people who watch more than 10 minutes of it, I know that they like me. They align with my brand. Boom. So lever 4, lever 4 is sales. Level 5 is autoresponders. Lever 6 is really good retargeting. And it depends on the business. Another important one of the levers is audiences. So many people spend money on an audience that's never going to buy from them. They're just chasing views. I see that on personal brand. People build a personal brand that gets a lot of views, but they don't make any money because the views are like, let's say they're selling a product for 25-year-old men to be strong at the gym, and they're getting views from 55-year-old men that don't go to the gym. Like, the mismatch is very easy to do. Very easy.
All right. All right, that's very interesting. How autoresponder are so important? Because for me, that's important, but it's like in the marketing side. I don't know how like it's 5x or even 2x your business to um, have the follow-up right. What do you think?
You saying if you have the autoresponders correct, will you double your revenue?
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes more, man. Sometimes more. You look at Alex Hormozy. Recently, Alex Hormozy did this big launch where it was $100 million or something in sales that he did from one 3-day webinar or something like that. Yeah, but he's been following up with people for 5 years before that or 3 years before that. So follow up is podcast, it's long form, it's email autoresponders that tell a story, it's an SMS to keep your name. Remember, most people just forget you. It's not that they don't want to buy from you, they just forget you exist because 100,000 new online businesses launch every year, more every month. 900,000 new people get the internet every day. So let's say 1 million a day get high speed internet around the world. At least 10% of those are going to try to make money online. They're watching all the videos. So it's just that people forget about you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. All right. And what's about the seven lever?
Well, like I said, it depends which ones, but the other
This,
levers, I would say the seventh lever, it's not the most important, is the design of your landing page. A lot of people either have too much wording on it or not enough. Okay. So, for example, sometimes in your marketing, you should send them straight to the checkout page. I've tested this. So, for example, if you do an hour and a half webinar, you should go straight to checkout. Boom. And I see people will go to their regular landing page after an hour and a half, which is like 3 different steps. And then people start reading the whole thing. They're already sold. So the seventh lever is the design of the website. Does it match where they're coming from? Now, if they're cold traffic and they're coming from a Facebook ad top of the funnel, man, you might need a landing page. My first landing page was 27 pages long and it converted. I have a friend who's one of the best marketers on earth. He will put up to 10,000 testimonials on a landing page. He calls it infinite scrolling. He has enough testimonials. You can sit there. I don't know if it's 10,000, but it's thousands of testimonials. So if he's engaging with cold traffic, people who don't know him, you need the design of your landing page to be totally different than if you're marketing to your existing loyal paying customers. If I have somebody who's already bought from me 3 times in the database, I don't want to send them to a page where they get distracted. They already want to buy. Just go right to the checkout. So that is the seventh lever, is the design. And checkout page design matters. For example, I've seen people on the checkout page that are selling info products, they're asking for people's home address. Fuck that. I'm not paying for anything that I got to put my home address unless it's a physical product. So putting unnecessary steps on the checkout page. Another thing that's really important is it easy to pay. You should have Apple Pay on stuff if you can. You should have a crypto payment. Like when I do webinars, and this is the like the sixth lever is your checkout page. Make it easy to pay. I don't know about you, but some airlines I go on and I want to buy Wi-Fi, and it's ridiculous. It's like I'm flying in the air and they don't have Apple Pay. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna pay. I'll just go without Wi-Fi. I want to go to every airline and go, why don't you have Apple Pay? What the fuck are you doing? You should have Apple Pay. You should have PayPal. You should have Venmo. You should have Cash App. You should have a Bitcoin link. You should have Ethereum. You can just make an extra $1,000,000 a year from optimizing your checkout page and making it easy. I let people mail me money. I'm like, you can mail me a check. I'm like, shit. I had a guy the other day wanted to trade me barrels of rum alcohol. He's like, hey, I want to be in your $100,000 private mentorship. Can I send you $100,000 worth of alcohol from Puerto Rico? I'm like, no. I had a guy once pay me with a warehouse. He's in my $1,000,000 program. He's like, I've got a warehouse worth $500,000. I was like, okay. So lever six is make it easy for people to pay, man. Like you want to get to 100 million plus, make it easy for people to pay. Jeff Bezos, who became one of the wealthiest people on earth, guess what Jeff Bezos did? Jeff Bezos invented one click. Once he got your credit card once, he saved it. He tried to trademark that. By the way, he tried to patent that. It got knocked out in the Supreme Court. He was trying to make only Amazon where you could do one click. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, continue to the eighth and the last one. That's pretty interesting. So, yeah, what's the eighth lever? I mean, I know it depends on what business you're
Yes, it
working or
depends on it depends on
working.
one. I would put in there like I said, in the modern world now, there's kind of a new lever that I'm gonna add, which is I haven't added. So yours is the first webinar that I'm explaining this on, okay? That is AI. That soon will probably be like lever two, three, or four. Do you know how to use AI? So let me give you an example. Every single person who messages me on Instagram or comments, I start a conversation to set calls. Sometimes I have 3 to 5 thousand conversations happening in my Instagram DMs in 24 hours. You'll never be able to do that ever if you didn't have AI. So AI is also going to call people. So somebody fills out a form on a lead form, calling them in 10 seconds. A good AI can dial 10,000 people at a time. So the one of the levers, like I said, I don't know where to put it. Maybe it's going to be, lever 10 or something like that. Is maybe I'll just remove one of the levers. Dude, AI, you should be all in on AI. I'd be going crazy with AI. If it was me, I mean, with the concept of AI, I'd be trying to replace my customer support with AI. I'd be trying to do outbound calls. I'd be doing Instagram DMs. I'd be SMSing people and WhatsApping them with AI conversations. I have AI inside my business that's trained to me. So it's trained to me. And so basically my staff, they can build a funnel and then just put the link in and say, does Tai Lopez approve this? So it can replace management. It can take you having to work. If you want to make 100 million a year in sales, you're going to have to work. I've done, 50 million in a month in revenue. I was working. You're working 14 to 16 hours a day. I had 8,500 employees reporting to me. I had 60 people that were executive leaders. And so, but that was before AI was big. Now, instead of 60 executives with AI, you probably need 5 or 10. AI it's going to replace lawyers. It's going to replace your accountants. It's going to replace a lot of the marketing team. It's going to replace your video editors. It's going to replace your social media team. So it's got good and bad. It's also going to saturate the market. Like there's guys now that are making faceless AI Instagram pages. They're going to start saturating your market. They can post. There's a guy I saw, I don't know if it's true, but I saw he's posting 35,000 times a day with AI. He's got like all these TikTok accounts on remote phones using VPN. So TikTok and Instagram, like AI, there's a brief window where you can use AI, and there's a brief window.
Yeah.
Like,
Right now,
yeah,
right now, how do you use AI in your different businesses?
I use it to manage my team. I use it. I'm building a tool, AI CEO. I'm using a tool that is going to check all my emails, all my Slack messages. It already works. It checks all my Slacks. Now I'm plugging it into my emails, and it just gives me a summary and makes a list for me as the CEO what to do. The hardest thing to do in life as a CEO of a company making money is doing the right thing in the correct priority order. Like shit can change. Somebody in Slack can write, "Oh, this Facebook account went down." And if you made your to-do list at 9 in the morning and then your Facebook accounts go down at 1 o'clock, you're working on the wrong thing. You need to reprioritize. So I'm going to use AI to manage my schedule, use AI to reach out for podcast guests, use AI. I'm already using AI to do tests of employees that we hire. We have them take a quiz, then AI analyzes. Do they have the cognitive skill? Do they have the worldview? Is their personality type good for that job? A lot of people apply for sales jobs, and I'm like, no, you're too introverted. You should be in marketing. So I'm going to use AI to make sure the people I hire go into the right jobs.
Yeah,
You know?
100%. What I do is, you record the sales call, right? And then
Yeah.
we've put all the recording into an AI that we trained, and we break down three core avatars, right? Three core ICP, right?
Yes.
And based on that, we created three new offers based on those three ICP. And then for our iTicket offers, when it's on the, before you ask some questions like what's your current revenue, for example, you ask some questions before booking the call, right? And then
Yes.
we put all those informations in an AI, and then the AI selects what offer and what closer should take the call and what
All right.
offer to present to the potential customer, right? And this boosts our sale like crazy, like I think more than 30 to 40% in just one
Yep.
automation like that. And yeah,
Absolutely.
it was insane.
I mean, AI can also, if you have new salespeople, AI can listen to the person on the call and give them a new script so they can just read off a script. Or salespeople are going to be able to be master closers. It's
And we
going to be,
built like a tree or something where we put all our sales call and then created a script based on the ICP, right? And the different objections. Everyone knows how to respond to each objection. Oh, the price is too high, blah 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 blah. With this, if with this avatar, right? And this helped us a lot to convert. I mean, our
yeah.
closing rates went to like 35% to like 50, 55, which is a lot on cold traffic. So yeah,
Yeah, there's so many tricks out here in the world. It's not even tricks. It's when you think about it, all these things are common sense. AI really started with books in the 1500s. All of a sudden, people used to have to talk to pass on messages. And then they invented the Gutenberg printing press in the 1500s. All of a sudden, artificial intelligence, you could print 100,000 books and spread it around the world. Then you fast forward to Google in the year 2000. What did Google have? All of a sudden, Google had the ability to take all the information for you, a robot, and put it in a list of things for you to read. What restaurant should I eat at? What nightclub? So all of a sudden it's like, boom. On top of that, then you fast forward to social media. Social media was kind of like artificial intelligence. Even in 2012, when Instagram started, you would post and then they would use artificial intelligence to show your video to the people who want it. So artificial intelligence is not totally new, okay? But it's getting more powerful. So you need to catch that trend immediately. If you're watching this, AI is giving you an opportunity. It's the next crypto. Crypto, just a
wealth creation.
massive wealth creator. I just saw a guy in 2011. What did he do? He put $56,000 into Bitcoin in 2011. He didn't touch it, and a couple months ago he took out 9 billion US dollars. What?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to talk with you about hiring because I'm very impressed about the team you have and how you hired people. Can you yeah, explain to me how you do that? Do you have someone that does the hiring stuff? How did you manage to do that?
So, because I like psychology, I started by reading a good book everyone should read. It's called Work Rules. Work Rules, like the rules of work. It's by the chief hiring officer at Google. So he has 3 million applications a year. He created a science of how to hire people. So there's three things. Resumes aren't that important. Quizzes can help. IQ is also important. And the fourth one actually, is let people demonstrate their skills. Don't ask them. So if somebody says, Ty, I'll do computer programming for you, we go, okay, no problem. Here's some code. Can you start today? And you can tell almost immediately. You don't need a job interview. If it's like if you're hiring a bodyguard, you can just be like, "Hey, here's a bench press. Can you bench press 500 pounds? Can you bench press 250 kilos?" If he can only bench press 100 pounds, 40 kilos, who cares about his resume? He's not strong enough. Make people demonstrate. But an IQ test, a cognitive test, it's crazy how accurate it is, especially not for salespeople. Salespeople don't need regular IQ, but marketing, it helps. And executives, it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people do you have? How many employee do you have right now? I mean, even at your prime, because I went to one of your mastermind here in Dubai a year ago or something, and
Yeah.
I was impressed by the numbers of employee you had, and yeah, it was like thousands, right?
Well, so I've been in all phases. I've had a teeny business, just me. I've had a small business with 10 people. I've had 100 people. I've had 1,000, and I haven't had 10,000, but I don't like, I found out you got to know yourself. I don't like it. I think the perfect number for me with AI, you're going to be able to have 150 employees and build anything you want. In fact, I forget who it was, Mark Cuban or something. He said, no, it wasn't Mark Cuban. It was one of Naval Ravikant. He said there's going to be a lot of billion-dollar companies with one employee, and there's a company called what's it called, Base 80 or something. I forget the name. They just sold. It's a 6 month old company, and he sold it for 80 million in 6 month old company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you hiring thousands of people? Because even if it's hard to manage, right? You hire them.
Well, when I had that many employees, that was from buying companies. So you can buy companies that come with employees. I've never had to hire 1,000 people all at one time. I've hired a couple hundred at a time. I think the most I've ever hired in 1 or 2 months, we hired 2 or 300. I've hired 2 or 300 people in like 1 quarter.
And how
So
many people do you have right now at the Tai Lopez? I mean, the main business you have right now, the personal brand business.
that's a good question. When I do my daily Zoom call, it's usually between 50 and 100 people now that come. Now there's more people that work for me, but I like to keep everything I want to do now. I want to keep it under 150 people.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
And what's the percentage of the sales and marketing people inside your team?
Marketing's not very big but sales team is probably I probably have 40 salespeople right now for TyLopez.com, something like
40
40. Yeah.
on 150, right? And yeah, can you break down the approximately what people on which part of the business they're working on?
So I like to have like about 10 leaders. I call it the 14 divisions. So you have about 14 main divisions. Some people can do more than one. So to me, you need about 10 leaders if you're going to be a bigger company. That's number one. Number two, I think you need the sales team should be probably your biggest headcount. Now, with AI, eventually it's going to be different. So marketing, you don't need a huge team. You need really smart people, but not a huge team. The, tech team, I'm building a lot of AI apps. So, tech team is decent size. But, now with 5 tech people who are good, you can get so much done. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Five,
Five
five.
people with AI, it's like 25 people.
No, it's like five with AI is like 100. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Do you have like a traffic or
Well, I have
a
a social
media
media
team?
Yeah, I have a social media team. That's you don't need a huge one anymore there. So I actually have more people who do stuff for me if you count like affiliates and clippers, you know.
100%. Okay, and you talk only to your team leaders, or you're talking to like everyone in the team or in the company, or only to the team leader to get it efficient?
So the way look, I have the 14 division. This is in an ideal world, this is what I would do. If I was living in an ideal world, me as a CEO, I should talk to three people a day. My COO, Chief Operating Officer, my CFO, my Chief Financial Officer, and for me would be my Chief Marketing Officer. Okay? I should talk to those a lot. Three people. Now, 3 or 4 times a week, I should talk to all 12 or 10 or 12 of my executives. But most of my life should be through the chief operating officer, chief financial officer, chief marketing officer. Those people then can have 8 people reporting to them. So it's me, I talk to 3 people. Each of the three, let's say, talk to 8 total. So that's 24. And then you can have like team leaders that handle another 5 or 8. That gets you to 150 people can be managed. Now, in reality, that doesn't always work. Okay.
Yeah. What does
Sometimes,
your
because
sorry
when you
for
get big, sometimes I got to talk to, like I used to, when I was at my biggest, I used to have 60 people, okay? 60 people talking that I would do a separate call, just my leaders for 1 hour before I talk to my whole company. So if you're doing more than like 20 million a month, 10 or 20 million a month, then all the rules start to break. Now, so if you look at Elon Musk, he has a huge company. He talks to so many people. Like he doesn't just talk to 3 people. But there's a different styles. Like Warren Buffett, who built $1 trillion company, he talks to like 3 people a day. So there's different styles of business. There's introverts and there's extroverts. Um, Elon Musk, he goes and flies everywhere, meets up. He meets up with the factory manager, you know, and then there's Warren Buffett, who has a little home office of 25 people. He talks to 3 or 4 people a day. Then once a day, he talks to each of the CEOs of all the companies. He only talks to them once a month. But those are not fast growing businesses. He owns like established businesses like Coca-Cola. So it depends how fast you're growing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Depends how fast.
100%. And you talked about your CMO, right? Right now I'm hiring a CMO for 2 businesses at the same time. What does your CMO do exactly in this business, personal brand business?
Chief marketing officer just does paid ads mostly. My
Mm-hmm.
chief branding officer does my organic. And I have 2 chief branding officers. I like co-officers. That way, if somebody takes a day off, the other person's working. So I have 2 chief marketing officers for paid ads and 2 chief branding officers.
Mm, okay. And what on this personal brand business I'm interested in because I'm focusing on it right now. What's your like day in the life for what are you working on? Like you're just recording some content or recording some VSLs or stuff like that? Or you're really into the management or into the double check the work or you hiring? What's your role into this company?
Well, with me it changes a lot. I change, but my daily routine, look, you need a perfect balance of chores that you have to do every day, boring stuff, check your email, check your Slack, stuff like that. And then you need a lot of creative time. All wealth, the richest guy I know is Steve Ballmer. He's one of the co-founders of Microsoft with Bill Gates. And he told me, he's like, Ty, at the end of the day, all wealth just comes from creative ideas. So if you're the CEO, you really better be a lot of creative time. So that means you can't be too busy. If you're too busy, you can't think of any new ideas. So in an ideal world, I think you should work like 2 to 3 hours a day on just the hard work, and the rest of the day you should be working on the business but thinking more, talking to smart people, going to dinners with people, like sitting down and writing out 100 ideas for new products, going and researching your competitors. That's something CEO should do. Go look at your competitors, spend an hour breaking down their funnel, breaking down their product, So I think that the CEO needs a lot of time, at least 5 hours a day to be high level. 2 or 3 hours a day to do chores, the boring maintenance stuff, but a lot of time to do other stuff.
Yeah, but for us, for example, in the content creation business, you can't really like delegate this part because it's yourself. Basically, it's your personal brand, right? So
Yeah, but
how do you?
you need to introduce other people in your business. For example, if you look at Grant Cardone, people know other people around him. So you got to know other people that are around you. You can start introducing your audience to other people so you don't have to do all the work. Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson has that one guy. What's his name? Anyway, Tony Robbins has this other guy that does all the closing. So even if you have a personal brand, introduce other people into the business to your audience. So it's like a group. You're like the leader, but they also want to talk to other people. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ty, for
Yeah,
this
thanks for having me.
wonderful hour. It was wonderful. Good advices. So thank you very much. And yeah, see you. We put all your links in the
Yeah,
bio.
put a
And
link. I'll give you a link if people want to work with me privately. Also, tylopez.com/podcast will take you if you're doing, 7 or 8 figures and you want me to help you scale your paid ads and personal brand, just tylopez.com/podcast. That'll take you, or we'll put a link for you. Okay.
yes, please. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Ty. Have a good one. And thanks for watching this video, guys.